Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashani, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this super fast and easy baby hat. And this size is perfect for a newborn or 0 to 3 months baby. And I'll have a written pattern that I'll leave a link in the description to that, so that you can make this for a bigger size if you like. But if you're a beginner, this tutorial is perfect for you. It's beginner friendly and it works up very fast. As for materials, you're going to need a medium weight yarn. I would recommend you go with worsted weight or Aran yarn, because I'm using a 6mm crochet hook for this project, so you need a yarn that is consistent with that thickness. And some other materials that you would need are your scissors, a measuring tape, some stitch markers if you are a beginner, and yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to start by making a slip knot as you would start any other crochet project. To make a slip knot, you just want to take your yarn. I like to put the tail of my yarn inside and the other part of the yarn, that's the working part of the yarn, outside. And then I make a crisscross like this, put my hand through that loop, and then grab onto the yarn and then pull it through like this. And so you have this huge knot, which you would now insert your crochet hook into and adjust it to fit the width of your crochet hook. So now we can start making chains. So for this project we are going to make 31 chains, yes, and those 31 chains is going to run the length of the hat. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. Okay, so I have my 31 chains all done here. We're actually going to have 30 stitches for each row, because we're going to skip one stitch here, so that extra one stitch is serving as our turning chain for the project. So I'm going to skip one chain here, walk into my next chain, and we're working in this top loop up here. So into this next chain I'm going to make one single crochet. To make a single crochet, you simply insert your hook, you pull up a loop, then you should be having 2 loops on your hook like this, and then you yarn over and pull through those 2 loops on the hook. Okay, you can decide to mark the stitch if you like. I'm just going to leave it like this, and then I'm going to make 4 more single crochets into the next 4 chains, so that I will have 5 single crochets in total. So this is 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now I have 5 single crochets in the first 5 stitches, 5 chains of, this is our first row by the way, yeah, so first 5 chains of row 1. And now for the remaining 25 stitches, for the remaining 25 chains, I'm going to work a half double crochet. And to work a half double crochet, you simply yarn over, then you insert your hook into your chain, you pull up a loop, you have 3 loops on your hook, you yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops that are on the hook, and that's how you create a half double crochet. So I'm going to continue to work a half double crochet into the remaining chains until I get to the end. So I've come to the end of my first row now. So we're going to work the second row, and it's quite different from the first row. So I'm going to start by making 1 chain, then go ahead and turn your work like this. Now for the first for the first 25 stitches here, we are going to be working half double crochets. However, we are going to be working those half double crochets into the back loops of the stitches. Okay, so you notice that every stitch has a V on top, right? There's a loop that is in front of you, which is this one right here, this loop right here, the one that is closest to you, and there is a second loop that is farthest from you here. So it is in this one that is farthest from you that we're going to be working our stitches, and we are going to maintain this pattern throughout this hat. So here I'm going to make 1 half double crochet into the very first stitch. we're not skipping any stitches here. So yarn over, insert your hook into that back loop and pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook, and you're just going to repeat this for 25 stitches. That's 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here we have number 25, the last half double crochet. So there are remaining 5 stitches here. Okay, those 5 single crochets that we worked at the beginning of our row 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are also going to be working single crochets into the single crochets here. It's just that we're going to be doing it also in the back loops. So 5 single crochets in the back loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is what we have for our row 3. We make 1 chain and start with 5 single crochets in the back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we are going to continue with half double crochets for the rest of the row. So this is what you're basically going to repeat: half double crochets and back loop half double crochets rather, and back loop single crochets into their respective stitches. And we're going to continue to do this until we have 26 rows in total. And those 26 rows, if you're using the right hook and yarn, should measure 14 inches in width. And then I'll be back to show you guys my own measurements once I'm done. Okay, so my 26 rows are all done now. I've just put a stopping stitch marker at this point to stop my stitches from unraveling. So let us quickly measure this piece before we move on to the next step. You can see that there's a slight curve here, so you want to make sure that you're measuring here. Okay, this is the widest part, and that is because of we're working a different stitch at this point. So just make sure you're measuring the bottom. I'm supposed to have 14 inches at this point. Okay, almost 14 inches, but that's just fine. And for the length, here we have let's see, we have 7.5 inches. Okay, so we're going to scrunch up this place to close the mouth of the heart before we sew it. And normally you might have seen tutorials of this in the past where they first of all sew it before closing up the mouth, but I'm going to do it in a very easy way that is very, should I say, effortless, sort of. So I'm just going to make 1 chain at this point here. Then I'm going to go into every other stitch. That's like every other row of stitches that was made. So just go into those holes one by one and continue to pick up stitches, and do not pull through or anything. Just pick up stitches row by row until you've picked up all the stitches for this. You have to be pushing your stitches down. With those chains on the hook, you have to push them down as you work. So I've gone into every row, and remember that we are doing this on the side where we ended our stitches, which is the side of the single crochets. Okay, so that place is a bit smaller than this other part. So basically I've picked up stitches there. So on my hook now I should have about 26 loops. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and now pull the yarn through all these loops that you picked. Now this might look a little bit tricky, but just do it gently and you will not end up with any tangles along the way. So pull it through very gently. Okay, so once you have pulled it through, you just want to pull on this one tightly, and then it just tightens it up like this, and then you're just going to make one chain. Okay, just one very tight chain right there. Be careful not to cut your yarn. I've made my one chain. Now I'm just going to pull the yarn all the way. Okay, you can cut your yarn at this point. I've already cut mine. I have a fairly long tail that I've left for sewing it, so I'm just going to pull that yarn all through and just give it a tug like that. Okay, so what we've done now is that we've already closed the top of our beanie, our baby hat, and then we're now going to sew down the sides. So at this point you grab a darning needle, and just thread your needle. Then we're going to sew. Okay, from stitch by stitch we're going to sew until we get to the bottom here. Okay, so now I've just finished sewing this. Okay, I'm just going to flip this inside out to reveal the finished work. At this point you can choose to add a pom-pom, or you can just leave it like this, but I'm going to add a pom-pom to this, and then I'm just going to roll up. Okay, before I roll it up, let's just give this one a good measurement. So at this point now you should be having a width of 7 inches. Okay, at the bottom here. Okay, so we have about 6.5 inches here, and you should be having a height of 7.5 inches. So by the time we roll this up, we will then have our proper size for a newborn, or let's say 0 to 3 months here. So this is the finished piece, guys, and this size, like I mentioned earlier, is perfect for 0 to 3 months baby. But I will have a written pattern in the description for you guys, so that you can check out other sizes for bigger baby size. And yeah, I added a pom-pom to this, and I made some in few other colors. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you were able to make this project for yourself or to learn something new. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, do drop a comment. If you have any suggestions for me, please drop a comment down there and I'll be sure to respond to you. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in my next video. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, please consider subscribing. It is absolutely free. And yeah, bye guys.